We're back in, and we're with two players who are live for looking at the top 8. Sean Mangner on the left, he's 11-1-1. Dusty Ochoa on the right, 12-1. Dusty Ochoa on a little bit of a heater here, coming off Pro Tour San Diego.
Yeah, he made the finals of that event, losing to Craig Wesco there. But there's a quick start here for Sean Mangner. Starting off with what is now a 2-2 court homunculus.
And an arc-bound worker.
And an arc-bound worker to follow it up. So he's already got 3 power, 3 toughness on the battlefield here just after his second turn. And a Pyrite Spellbomb with no red mana in sight here can't be a good thing for Dusty.
Think he's going to cycle this looking for land? He's got a is that a Gargadon in his hand? Can't see that right off the top.
Can't quite see what that is, but
Sean gets in for 3. Drops Dustin Ochoa to 15.
Gleam of Resistance.
Land cycled. So he's going to get a Plains. So it looks like Sean's on the blue-white artifacts plan.
Yep.
We don't really see too much of what Dustin Ochoa's on, but we're going to assume that there's some red to go along with his swamps.
That's right. We definitely saw some red cards in his hand there. Sean Mangner is an old-school St. Louis player, I'm told by Rashad.
And he gets the land and just passes the turn. Yep. Dustin does indeed cycle the. Ah, there's his mountain. Ooh. So that was a good dig.
Yeah, that was. So here comes a 3-mana spell. Let's see what he's got here. Could be a drag down. Oh, Mad Ante. Okay, well, not the ideal start for Dusty Ochoa, as he'd much rather, if he is the actual Goblins deck, he wanted to be the aggressor. He's actually found himself a little bit on his back heels here, but that's a nice recovery play. Mad Ante, one of the better cards in the set for that archetype. Probably the best one.
Yeah. 4th land for Sean.
Fairy Mechanist. So let's look at the top 3 cards of our library and dig for an artifact. He's found 2 different artifacts. I think he found a worker and a stinger.
What do you keep here, Marshall?
Just probably the stinger. Yeah, that's what he took here too. It's evasive. It can get over. It can fly over any future creatures that are coming along. All right, so Dustin Ochoa gets to untap with Mad Ante. That's going to help out quite a bit if he can commit some type of a Goblin presence to the battlefield here. Then he can have shored up the ground game quite nicely. Now we see a Plains from Dusty. That's kind of out of left field, and he plays a Murderous Redcap to kill the Fairy Mechanist, and he's actually just going to go ahead and attack in here. He's got the 2/2 sitting back there. He's not worried about it dying. And Mad Ante can actually regenerate that Murderous Redcap if he wants to later. He can't now because it requires tap ability there, but feels comfortable with his blocks here.
Remember the Mad Ante gives all his goblins +1.
That's right.
Which means that Murderous Redcap actually did 3 when it.
That's a great point, Sheldon.
It TV'd.
And if it were to die and come back, it will do 2.
It will still do 2.
Yes.
Okay, there's the Stinger, as we saw.
And no attacks there, as the Murderous Redcap is playing great defense here.
Well, you don't want to get yourself 2 for 1.
Even then, it would just eat the homunculus.
Right.
Okay, so let's see what Dusty Ochoa has. He seemed to have stumbled early, but has recovered quite nicely here with Mad Ante into Murderous Redcap.
That was basically like a mulligan to 5, right? So if I'm only going to get it to 4.
Was it a drag down there at the top of his hand? I'm going to have to brief the players a little better on on not hiding their cards from us.
Yeah.
All right, if you're just joining us, Dustin Ochoa on your right, Sean Mangner on your left. This is the X1 bracket. Sean is 11-1-1. Dusty Ochoa 12-1.
Yeah, both of these players are live to make the top 8. If either one picks up a loss here, they're unlikely to make it.
Even with great tie breaks from the top for Dusty.
Yes, Dusty might make it, but he's certainly far from guaranteed. All right, Bound in Silence
on the homunculus, and he's just going to swing in.
Yeah.
He's got no fear.
I mean, right now, Sean's got 2 1/1s.
Right.
So even if he wants to throw them back both in front of Mad Ante, he would lose both of them and has no real place to put the modular counters. And Dusty Ochoa, we know, also has a trick in his hand, which he's representing, and there's a lot. He could have a pepper smoke. He could have
drag down.
Well, no, he can't cast drag down, but he can cast the split-second burn spell.
Sudden shock.
Sudden shock, thank you. And he can have Glacial Ray. He happens to have Glacial Ray this time, but Sean is like, well, he's actually representing a lot of stuff here.
Yeah, Sean casts Thirst for Knowledge
Yep.
and then just decides to eat the damage. So he is at 13. Dusty Ochoa is at 13.
All right, so let's see what Sean can do to help get himself back, and I think he's got another Court Homunculus here.
Does he have the Ether Spellbomb in there as well?
I believe so.
So certainly the possibility exists to bounce your own creature that has the Bound in Silence on it.
Absolutely. In this case, would he do it? I'm not 100% sure, but that opportunity is important.
All right, he's going to get in with the Worker and the Stinger.
So a close race here. Both players were at 13, but Dusty's going to drop to 11.
Another Homunculus. And work out his mana right a little bit here, and there's that Aether Spellbomb. Oh, and a Frogmite.
For free!
Yeah. Yay, Frogmite. That leaves Sean with a single card in his hand. End of turn, that Glacial Ray is going to hit. The Homunculus. Oh, nope, the Frogmite.
Ooh.
Ow.
Perilous Research, sack the Arcman Worker, move the token over, and draw 2 cards. That was a nice play from Sean. Dustin cannot be happy with that. Ugh, he was trying to clear the board. Sure, it's still gone, but I mean, it's not gone. He got rid of a different creature, but that's not the one he wanted to kill, and Sean's now going to have 3 cards when it comes back to his turn, and he had him down to 1. So let's see what Dustin Ochoa can find here. Still leaving the Aether Spellbomb active. He still has attack with that foil Murderous Redcap with the incredibly scary glowing eyes.
Really.
Thank you, Dusty.
4 mana for Dusty Ochoa. Oh, there's the Hammerfish Giant. He's going to take down the Stinger. Modular counter is going to go on to the Court Homunculus that isn't Bound in Silence. And Murderous Redcap is... Murderous Redcap's going to come in.
It's a 3/3. He'll lose both of his creatures if he wants to put it on there.
I mean, it's not in a tight enough situation where Sean can think about bouncing the Redcap right now.
This doesn't make any sense because then, sure, it's a bit of a tempo play, but then Dusty would just replay it, do the 3 damage to him anyway, or wherever he wants. So bouncing the Redcap's just not an option unless he's going to win the game.
Right then when he does it.
Yeah,
Right.
it needs to be that tight of a situation, I think, especially because of the Mad Ante. And remember, he left back Mad Ante this time. It can regenerate that Redcap too. So just an awful situation for Sean facing down that Redcap. He's going to have to race. He's going to attack for 4 here.
That Giant's going to block.
Oh, absolutely.
Because it's got Echo, and Dusty's not going to pay for it.
It costs 6, I think, for Echo, right?
Yep.
Is this a Gleam? Yeah, Gleam of Resistance to pump up the team and untap them. Dusty's still fine with that because that thing was going to go down anyway, but it does mean that Dusty's going to take 3 damage in the exchange. So we've got a pretty close game here. No sleeves Ochoa on the right side.
Mountain was his draw. That's a lot of mana, Marshall.
Is that a Pardic Dragon?
It is a Pardic Dragon.
Okay, so it's a 4/4 flying with fire breathing.
Currently has 2 red mana up, so yeah, he could certainly represent lethal on the next turn.
Yep. Now, the Aether Spellbomb, that's a fine target to bounce with it. There's
Sure.
an Ethereum Sculptor, and he's just got to pass the turn back now. So he can attack with the Pardic Dragon and force his opponent to bounce.
Dustin splitting up his mana there.
I promise her no infidelity.
Tornifier maybe he just drew. Red cards everywhere. Pardic Dragon coming in. Now you probably don't pump it here. You don't give him the chance to blow you out that much, no?
No, because the way priority works is Dustin passes priority, and then Sean must act. If he decides to pump mana into it, then Sean can respond to that. So once Sean says, okay, then you're taking 4 damage, and that's exactly what happened there. That's gotta make Dustin Ochoa pretty happy.
Single-digit life totals for both players. Sean at 6, Dusty at 7. This is game 1 of round 14 action from Grand Prix Las Vegas here on ggslive.com.
Sean now has to focus on this Partick Dragon. It's really the only thing that matters on the board currently, as Dusty's at 7.
Yep. Bounce
all right,
that
there it
thing.
gets bounced. It's going to set Dustin back a bunch. And can Sean find some pressure here? That's the question. Well, he sure can.
No,
He
Sanctum
found
Gargoyle.
a Sanctum Gargoyle, so he's going to be able to keep Dusty off of that Partick Dragon for quite a while if he wants. He didn't pay the mana for that, did he? Oh, no, it's free because of the Ethereum Sculptor. Thank you. And it's almost as if Sean could hear me.
Yeah.
So this is end step.
Yep.
Is it a death rattle? It is.
It sure is.
Take down the
Frogmite
frog,
goes.
right? Yep.
And now untap. I mean, Sean's got to be really careful that he doesn't get the 3 life, because then the murderous red cap is going to find a way to kill him.
Yeah, it can just keep attacking him every single turn, and he has to start chump blocking it with things that don't kill it.
Okay.
And it looks like Dusty, he did rip a Fiery Fall, but he says, no, I'm just going to play the Partick Dragon here. Sean doesn't use his Spell Bomb right now. Remember, Dustin Ochoa is also sitting at 7, so he's got to be very careful here.
Arcbound Stinger for
Yeah,
Sean.
that's a nice blocker for the
That's a
Partick
really
Dragon.
nice.
Remember, there's the Sanctum Gargoyle that has flying as well.
Swamp off the top for Dustin Ochoa. Let's see where he goes. Into the red zone.
Yep.
Gargoyle's going to block. Going to block the Gargoyle. And then
And then the Gargoyle's going to get returned to his hand, so he can repeat that same play if he wants. He has to use up a bunch of mana. It doesn't really get him forward, but it keeps him from dying, which is nice. And now Dustin Ochoa wants to try to play around this a bit, because he's got the ability to Fiery Fall the Gargoyle in response if he can set up the timing right for it. If he can do that, he can kind of stop that chain for a while, because right now Sean Mangner can do this.
Well, and
indefinitely.
Dusty's got to be aware that if Sean gets too many guys, he can swarm him, because he's only at 7 life.
Yeah.
Fiery Fall's expensive, 6 mana, but it is an instant, and it can do 5 damage to something.
I'm used to like clearing off the table before I start a game.
3 mana for Sean. Sanctum Gargoyle. Oh, he's going to make a different choice?
Yeah, he's going to get the Fairy Mechanist here, yeah.
So he can look at some cards.
Oh, also, it'll set him up so that he can double block the Partick Dragon if he wants to just put a couple of creatures in front and get rid of it. Does set up an awkward situation because Dusty can pump, but there's the second Sanctum Gargoyle, and he gets it back. So here we go. Wow.
Yeah, it looks like Dusty just needs some... And this... Oh, nope. No, not going to attack.
I think he's saying go to attacks, maybe. Dusty looked like he was in a pretty good position a few turns ago, but the grindability of Sean's deck has really set him up to actually kill Dusty pretty soon here.
Okay, he's going to take the Arcbound Stinger. Go to 5. Now he's going to have to spend his Fiery Fall here at the end of turn, right?
That's what he's doing. It's just too expensive not to, so he's going to take out one of the Sanctum Gargoyles here.
Because if he has a way to take out the other one.
I mean, his plan right now, Sean's plan, Yeah, it's to block with the gargoyle, bounce it with the spell bomb again, and then get his other gargoyle, and then get the spell bomb again, and kind of repeat this chain. So Dusty needs to find a way to get that gargoyle out of the way. Wow, what did he just draw there?
Oh, he drew a mountain.
No, well, what's that? What's that red spell?
That looks like
can't quite see it from
Torn
here.
Fire.
You don't have it in play. I can tell you that.
Dustin Ochoa's thumbs doing a pretty good job protecting the art of the card. Rashad, can you see that? Rashad cannot see it either.
Is it Tribal Flames? Yeah.
Tribal Flames. I'm going to do 3 damage to your Sanctum Gargoyle.
Okay, well, we were just talking about this. He needed a way to kill both of the Sanctum Gargoyles to keep that chain from going.
Now he battles with the dragon and the red cap, right?
2, 3, 4. Yeah, he can. Absolutely. Yeah, good call, Sheldon. That's exactly what happens here. This is a lethal attack, so Sean must block something.
And he's got to chump block it. He can't kill the murderous red cap.
No.
Because it'll persist back and kill him.
Yep. It'll come back as 2. Now remember, he does have that Aether Spell Bomb sitting there.
It looks like he's considering that block. Damage?
Yeah, and Dusty, I think, says, yeah, I'm not going to pump. I'm not going to dump a bunch of my mana and give you that chance to bounce my dragon. So you go to 2. Now Dusty just needs to find a way to either kill his red cap or get a couple of damage through here. Ooh, Worn Pilfers.
You get the Glacial Ray back?
You can't get that back.
Oh, no.
It's got to be a creature, but I didn't see what it was. He just flashed it real quick, but we'll see.
All right, now Sean.
He draws a Mirror Enforcer, but he's really up against it here. Dusty's at 6. Sean's at 2. And there's the Fairy Mechanist.
What answers could there be?
Well, there's another Mirror Enforcer. He sees a Path to Exile, which he'd love to have in his hand. Unfortunately, not an artifact. He can cast one of the Mirror Enforcers. Still leave the blue up for his Spell Bomb.
And Dusty has too much in the way for Sean to crack him back for a kill. Although if he got rid of the Mad Ante, now when the Murderous Red Cap came back, it would no longer be lethal.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
So Sean Mangner deep in the tank here.
Yeah, I mean, he's just in a really bad spot. Dusty has the Mad Ante. That's making the Worn Pilfers a 4/4. Also, he can threaten to regenerate that at any time. And he's gonna fly in there with the Arcbound Stinger and get in for just the 1 damage to drop Dusty down to 5. And there it is, Mirror Enforcer. But he's going to actually just cast another Mirror Enforcer. He's not going to bother with the Spell Bomb. He has a blocker for the Pardic Dragon.
For now.
Yes. But how is he going to get around that red cap here?
Yeah. It's just...
Because he's got a 4/4, a 4/4, a 2/2, but that's got to block the dragon, and then a 3/3. Thanks to that counter.
Well, there's the giant.
So Sean says...
Oh, it's the giant that he got back. The Hammerfish giant.
Yeah, but even then, I mean, he was dead anyway.
Yeah, right, because he has to block and kill the Murderous Red Cap.
Yeah, so
and it's going to persist back.
So in order for him to survive that turn, he needed to not attack with that, the flying, the stinger. He needed to chump block with the stinger and chump block with the other thing and hope that Dusty makes some type of mistake that allows him to get in, or that he's got a draw step. You know, if he has a blinding beam. And if he can entwine or even just tap down a couple of guys and get in there for lethal, that was... I don't know if he's got any in his deck. We don't have the deck list right now, but
Hey, look at that, Marshall. We got some upcoming events.
Hey, I'm going to go to one of those.
You're going to go to Kansas City?
Yeah, I'm going to be commentating.
You're going to be okay. You're going to be commentating Kansas City. I think I've told you this already. Arthur Bryant's, Oklahoma Joe's,
yes.
Jack Stack.
Noted.
That's your Kansas City trio.
Got it. I'm going to hit 2 of the 3 at least.
Okay, that's July 6th and 7th. Week before, then this coming weekend, June 29th and 30th in Miami, Florida. That's a standard one. Kansas City's going to be modern. And what kind of turnout you think we're going to see for that Kansas City event?
Well, it's a nice central location. Modern usually has pretty reasonable turnouts, not the highest possible.
Right.
It's still a newer format. Oh.
So we're in a sneak peek. Sean Collins on the left, Steve Cahill on the right. Sean is up a game, and he has a mid-level Figure of Destiny going, and Steve Cahill is also on the blue-white artifact plan, and he's got a board full of things of his own. I think Sean just tapped 6 mana to do something.
He actually
or 5 mana, sorry.
Yeah, he returned an Ignis, and he put the changeling into play. So he shipped the turn back, and now it's Steve Cahill's turn.
Okay, Steve Cahill at 13-0. Sean Collins at 12-1. Again, both of these players poised to go into the top 8.
Is Cahill the last undefeated player in the whole tournament?
He is indeed, says Rashad Miller.
That's a Thundercloud Shaman.
That is a Thundercloud Shaman. That's gonna eat some Arcbound.
That is gonna do 2 damage to every creature that Steve has, and that's all of them. It's gonna kill everything he has here. And it's also going to leave no target for the modular. So that is just an absolutely board-wiping, insane play from Sean Collins, who's already up a game, and he's going to threaten to take away this. Ooh, but there's a Plume Veil.
Plume Veil!
It's going to jump in front of the Figure of Destiny.
Oh my goodness. Memories of 5-color control.
Yeah. Wow.
Ouch.
And apparently that figure, was at the mid stage there. It was a 4/4, so it actually traded off.
Okay, Aether Spellbomb now from Steve Cahill. Not quite as exciting. Looks like Steve might be missing a land drop or 2. Thundercloud Shaman, it attacks too, you know.
That's the thing about the Thundercloud Shaman that people always overlook, is that it leaves behind a perfectly serviceable 4/4 that can make short work of the board state that is left over after you've killed half or more of your opponent's creatures. In this case, all 4 of them. I mean, that was a 5-for-1.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen very often. Another Avian Changeling. And there's that Ignis again. All right, we're going to go back to our first one. This game looks pretty well in hand for Sean Collins. I mean, not a lot of cards in the set that can get you back, so let's see.
We're already underway. And it's Arcbound to Arcbound for Sean. And then Blightspeaker for Dustin Ochoa. Those Arcbounds are going to battle in. That's what they're there for, right? And there's a Stinger.
Wow, is this a homunculus? No, it's another worker.
It's
2 of each. It's a double date.
It's the robots deck.
It is absolutely the robots deck. Wow. That is actually just an insane start.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks like a lot. It is only 4 power, but still, like, getting rid of those things isn't really possible unless you do it all at once. Like, you can't just start picking them off one by one. You just don't get anywhere.
Right, because the counters go on, because of the modular ability, the counters go on to one of your other creatures.
Right.
It's what makes them so good. It's what makes Arcbound Ravager so good.
All right, so Blightspeaker is going to jump in front of one of the workers. Sean's going to put the counter on another worker. A Glacial Ray is going to take out that worker, and the counters are now going to move. Oh, so the ability's on the stack there. So he does get to get rid of one of them. And there's a Core Homunculus. It's a 2/2
and a Spellbomb.
Jeez. We were talking about the difference between the aggro version and the more controlling version of this blue-white deck, and it looks like Sean's is firmly in the aggro camp. The last game we saw that it had the ability to really grind with all those Fairy Mechanists and Sanctum Gargoyles, so he's kind of hitting from a few different angles, but this one, it's only one angle, so very directly.
Dustin's got to play Hammerfist Giant.
Yeah, Hammerheim Deadeye.
Or Hammerheim Deadeye. To take out one of the Stingers. Yeah, the one with 2 counters on it seems good.
Yep,
the 2 counters.
Pile them all on. So he's whittled away, and he's killed 3 of the 4, and he's left Sean with just a 3/3 flyer, which is still pretty nice here, but it certainly could be a lot worse.
Yeah. So Sean gets in with the 3/3 flyer, drops Dustin to 11. Obviously, that Deadeye is gonna go away.
Dead was a good description of that one, yeah.
There's another court homunculus.
So aggressive. Sean's had enough fooling around from that first game. He's coming back with a vengeance here. Here's a 5. Is it a Pilferers? Yes. He's going to get the Hammerheim back, and next turn he's going to get to play it and finish off that Stinger, and he will have stabilized. Wow.
He's going to be at 8. He's going to be at 8 when he does.
But he's there. Wow, and if he hits a land drop here too, he can even pay.
Yeah, he does have another. He does have another land.
Okay.
He's got a Vivid land in his hand. Plus, he's got another one, I believe. There it is. Take out the Stinger. Those 3 counters go over on a Court Homunculus. Vivid Crag, so he's not going to pay.
He will pay. He can 8 on tap. Right?
Yeah, I mean,
he can pay.
He
Yeah.
can pay. See what he's got at end of turn.
He's going to double block, or he could double block if he wanted, but no, he's not going to give him that opportunity. He's going to make him pay, and he does just that, and he's just going to shift the turn back, so the board stays at parity for now.
I mean, Sean Mangner at 19, Dusty Ochoa at 8.
Yeah, Sean didn't want to attack with his 4/4 homunculus, or his 5/5 homunculus, because if it gets double blocked, he doesn't want to let Sean use that Hammerheim Deadeye without having to at least pay the echo cost first. Yeah, he doesn't want to let him get value out of it.
Sort of a little bit of a time walk.
Yep, and that's what he did. I mean, he made him use his whole turn. He got basically a land drop and nothing else changed. Does he have a way he can change the board here, though? Is that an Arcbound Ravager? Yeah. Wow.
Pretty sweet Arcbound draft deck for Sean.
Sweet. Yeah, it looks like an old school deck here. Wow. Is that what I thought it was?
I didn't see what he drew.
Okay, well, I'm going to wait for him to cast it, but I'm pretty sure I know what that was. And it's a card that, yeah, that's exactly what it was. You can see it. Yeah, you can see him poise his hand over the 5 mana there. Here it comes.
Oh.
Boom.
Oh.
5/4 with haste. He's going to check the graveyard, but there's no more.
Demigod of Revenge. Striking some vengeance down for Dustin Ochoa.
Yep, so it is now all of a sudden Dusty's got the ground game in a reasonable state here with 2 3/3s locking it down, or at least effectively. And he's got 5 damage coming in the air every single turn. That's going to just make short work of Sean if he can't find a way to put some more pressure back on Dustin Ochoa.
Sean's at 14, so that gives him 3 attacks. Demigod of Revenge.
I think that Sean has Perilous Research in hand. There it is.
He does indeed. He's going to cast it. Draw 2, sacrifice 1. Sacrifice the plains.
Looks like he's got a Mirror Enforcer and some lands.
Yep, that's what it looks like.
Can't be happy about that. He's got another spell in his hand. What is that? What artifact does he have?
He's thinking about whether he wants to try to risk an attack here. Probably not profitable for him. Oh, it's Frogmite.
Oh, it's a Frogmite. All right. And there's that mirror enforcer.
So, I mean, Dusty has to be careful here because Sean's guys are pretty sizable.
Yeah.
And
he just added 6 power and toughness to the board this turn.
And Dustin's only at 8.
Yep.
So he's got to think about his attacks. Does he want to send the Ravager in? Send a Homunculus in for it? I mean, Dustin can safely double block here because he knows that Sean doesn't have any tricks.
Well, I mean, Sean does have Arcbound Ravager, though. Yeah, he can just eat them. He can put the counters on there and just make a huge Homunculus here. It would be a 7/7 if he sacrifices his Arcbound Ravager to put those 2 counters on the Homunculus, and it would kill both of Dustin's creatures. And here he is. He's moved in.
Do it.
There's 2 mana still up, but he's not worried about much here. And it's going to survive. 1-2. Puts him in order. Yeah, down they go.
Okay, so onboard tricks are on
board. And they survive the turn. Yeah, onboard trick sitting there. Now, Dusty could have had some type of burn spell to finish that thing off, but he didn't have it. And all of a sudden, and now he draws it, of course.
What a kick in the groin.
Kick in the something, yeah.
He draw the Glacial Ray after.
Yeah. Glacial Ray could take out Frogmite, but not a great spot here. It looks like he's lining up an attack anyway, though. Bring you down to 9, Sean. And Dustin, what does he needs something like
he needs another creature.
Like a Mog War Marshal would be pretty sweet. He's just going to pass the turn back, though.
He's got to hope that Sean doesn't attack.
That could be the situation he's found himself in, but that seems highly unlikely.
Yep. Sean is bringing everybody into the red zone.
Sean figured it out.
Glacial Ray.
Does Dusty have Glacial Ray Fiery Fall in hand?
No, I think it's a black card. His other card is a black card.
Okay. It's a Death Rattle?
It's
a
Death Rattle.
It is indeed a Death Rattle. Good eye, Rashad.
Rashad Miller with those good eyes. Picking up the Death Rattle.
Death Rattle your Homunculus, so that's going to take a lot of the pressure off, but he still has 6 damage coming his way, so does he just take out the Frogmite here too?
Well, can he win?
Absolutely. Because he's going to take 4 here. He's going to crack back for 5, and if he draws any creature, and if Sean has nothing else, then he can kill him. He just needs a chump blocker or a removal spell for that Mirror Enforcer. What did he draw?
It was a spell.
All right, well, we'll know in a minute here if it was a creature of some type. And it looks like it was because Demigod of Revenge is attacking and putting Sean on a 1-turn clock. And there it is.
Festering Goblin.
Festering Goblin standing strong. Can he protect?
No! The handshake!
Good enough.
Dustin Ochoa rides the back of Demigod of Revenge.
That was close.
Into 12-1-1, sends Sean Mangner to his second loss, 12-2. So Dustin Ochoa, well positioned. All he's going to do is take down
the last match.
And
he will be in.
We are back in the booth. I'm Sheldon Menery. He is Marshall Sutcliffe. We are joined by Gavin Verhey and Rashad Miller here in the GG's Live booth, bringing you all the action from GP Las Vegas 2012. One more round of draft.
Yeah. This is it. This is the last. The round coming up is going to decide